Hi and welcome to this video. In this video we should get the battery contactor sorted out so that we can turn a battery on if we fit one and everything come alive, and I'll work on a method of telling how much fuel I've got in the main fuel tank. So let's see how I get on with it. Come on then. Right, so I want to put an eye end on the end of this power cable, which is going to go from the master contactor to the starter motor itself. So first off, I get one of my my eye ends, just so I've got a good reference to where I'm going to cut the insulation. I'm using a scalpel. I'll just run this around. I can actually feel if I'm touching the wires with that, so that's why I tend to use a scalpel. Now that I've ringed that, I'll rotate the insulation as I take it off, and that puts the wires, puts a sort of twist in the surface wires, not in the core but in the surface ones, and that will allow me to put my crimp on, and you can see it's just flush with the end there, which is nice. And this is something which I was shown. It sort of works a bit, it helps, it doesn't seem to make any much difference, but I hit this with a hammer just to flatten it out a little bit, like that. Then put a chisel on there because it's got a slot there already for it, so a bit more. Oops, yes, it helps. So I'm just starting to get that to go in to the wire a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. It's like I'm just starting to get the nip going in. And then using the Nico press, I put this in. Just with it opened up, this will fit into that one there, and I'll squeeze it down. And I'll release it. Because I battered that edge in, it's gone into the wires. You can just sort of see it's gone into the wires. Got a little bit of excess on this side. The actual section here has sort of bowed very slightly with that. That's easy to remedy. Just lay it onto a piece of wood and that flattens it better out, and I'll run a piece of heat shrink just to go over the top of that. I could have put that on before, but I'm just doing this in. So there we go, that's how I do it. That will not come off. I've tried doing sort of pull tests and bits and pieces, and it takes wire with it whenever it's gone. So there we go, that's my method for doing the crimp. If you haven't got a nice posh crimping tool, but we've got a Nico press for doing our flying wires and things. There we go. So that's the first end. I've just shown you as I did. This is the second end, and I've actually put in a section of 2.5mm cross-sectional area cable in, which will carry enough amperage to deal with the everything I have on my master bus. So this will go up to the circuit breaker, the 25 amp circuit breaker, to feed all my radio and instruments. Well, you can sort of see one of the clips there. There's another one on the other side of the board, and then that's P-clipped up the side there. Out of the way, should be out of the way of the rudder cable. So now all we're going to do is put the rudder and well, my footboard back down. Once I've done that, well, we can continue going forward. I've got one of the battery terminal connectors there. I've got another one just sort of sitting here at the moment, which has got to be made to length to fit the battery. It's a very short one. It literally goes from the closest end of the battery to the top of the post there, and another little lead just goes down to the trigger on the master contactor. So I'll have a little play and just get that floorboard down. Well, I think that'll be me for this evening anyway. Yeah, it's taken a bit of time. We'll see what happens anyway. Oh, there's the footboard back in again. So we're pretty much there. Just got to sort out the little bits just behind the dash. Nothing much to really go show you there. And then we're just waiting for the battery to arrive, which will be half, and we can get that strapped in, and we can make sure our electrics turn on through the contactor and everything else. That'd be great if that works, won't it? Well, there's the final leads in on the contactor down there. You can sort of see I've patched in a couple of these with just some twists on the end of it, so I could attach a battery to the battery terminals down there, just so I could check the contactor works and I could power up the instruments and things like that. But that's all I've been playing with really, and it will work fine. So next bit to start playing with, I think let's start working on the fuel tank fuel level measuring stick, for want of a better word, float pin, so indicate the fuel tank level. So that's going to be a brass insert going through the fuel filler cap. It'll be neck down to take a stainless steel rod with a float on the end. I'll show you that lot when I get round to starting it. Oh, there's a basic sketch of what I'm going to create out of this bar stock I've got, and the idea is it's going to allow this quite rigid stainless steel wire to slide up and down, and I'll attach that float on the bottom of it, so that we should get some reading of what's going on in the tank. So I'll get this fitted in the lathe chuck, and I'll be working effectively from this end. So I'll drill through, I'll turn it down, put on the M6 thread. I'm going to waste down the sides a bit just to get rid of some of the weight. So I'll show you probably at each stage what I've got up to. So this has been turned down to 6mm, and then I've just run a die down it using my tail stock as a guide to make sure it was square. So that's now cut, and I'm now going to drill down the centre of this 4mm hole going in to just shy of the total length that I want this component to be. I want to have a 3mm long bearing end that's 2.2mm bore for the wire to go through. I want to have a clearance through here, so if there's any bend in the wire, airflow and things like that doesn't get stuck. I'll make a little stop piece to go on the bottom there, a bearing again for it to go into afterwards, and that'll be soft soldered in. So my next section is to bore this. The total length of this is going to be 50mm, so I'm going to bore in 47mm, and then I'll do the turning down to give it a bit of an hourglass figure from the 8mm external diameter I've got here
down to 6mm. So we've got 1mm wall. Try and keep it light. So I'll show you that. Right, so it's been bored the end here, and as you can see, hopefully, we've got this wasted section here, which just takes out a bit of weight, makes it look a little bit more like a machined item rather than just something thrown in. So I'm just going to part this off round at the end to make it nice and smooth, and then bore in, drill bore in with a 2.2mm drill to make the bearing face at that end. So there's the item. Now it's been cleaned up, polished a little bit. The 2.2mm hole in the end there. The 4mm hole at the bottom there. We've got to just make up a little plug to go into that, so that that can be soldered in and be bored to 2.2mm as well. Okay, for the purpose of this exercise, I want this to go into the bottom of the tube. I'm just putting in a piece of solder, and I'll just stick that on top like that, and then I'll heat this lot up until the solder runs, and I can put this back in the lathe. I can face that off the end there back to the thread, and then drill and tap it, drill it for the pin to go through. So there we go. So there's the end soldered on, so you'll see the solder's flowed past the end there. I'll just turn that now down and off, and then I can drill the end. There we go. So there it is in the filler cap, all ready to go. The next bit is just to sort out the float section. What I've done with this is I have put it in and Loctited it with a stud lock, so it won't come undone. It also seals the thread nicely. So that's it. Next bit is the float. Right then, so I put a slight kink in the wire there, and I've bent it through 90 degrees there. The float's got a flat on it there, so I'll push this through. That little kink just makes it a nice tight fit. That's reasonably on now, but I've got one of these little washers, wire cup washers, so I'm just going to put that on the end here. Now, to get that started so I don't ram things into my finger, I'm just going to use this this little socket bit here. I could push that in, got it started, and now I can just slide that hopefully along here without too much aggravation. Actually, I'll get a little pair of pliers. Use a small pair to drive that, and I'll just grab this and whoops, and try to pull it along. So that's along, fully seated there, I think. No, there's no movement there at all. Now this float just cannot go back up there. That's trapping it in the one direction well and truly, and so this should, oh, I've got a bit of a burr on the end there. I'll just clean that off. hopefully. There we go, that's a nice loose fit in there, so it'll go up and down, no trouble at all. Now what I'll do when I'm kind of happy with all this operating as it should do, in the fuel tank, I will fill the fuel tank up with 10 litres of fuel, or thereabouts, about a half an hour's running time of fuel, just over, so 10 litres should give me about 45 minutes of reserve. So I'll put it into the fuel tank, and wherever this then settles, I will bend this over so it touches on there at that way I can look at my float as it goes down. When the right angle bit touches the top there, I know I'm on my final reserve. I can then transfer fuel from a wing tank if I want to, or I know I need to be finding a place to land. So there we go, this slides up and down nice and easily, so we should have no issues at all. Well, that's it for this video. We've got the battery contactor all sorted out for the master switch, and we've got the fuel tank sender system, so I can actually see how much fuel we've got in the main tank. Going forward, you'll be seeing this video on Good Friday, but I'm actually editing it on the Thursday. Depending on what's actually arriving in the post, or arrived in the post, I'm looking at getting things like the fuel breather, the engine breather sorted out, completing the exhaust with a bit of luck. It'll be pretty much the same as it was on the port side, so I won't be showing you a great deal of that, only how I've managed to make the two look the same length and same sort of positioning, and that's only if I manage to get the welding wire I need. I may have a little look at some bits to do with the oil cooler as well, but we'll see what we get on with. I'm really hoping that the weather forecast is correct for this weekend, and I'll get a chance to do some flying. But this is Britain, and we never know what's going to happen as far as the weather goes. Anyway, I wish you all a very happy Easter holidays, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep well now. Bye.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe, or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.